Ta-da!
Golden you from across the globe joining us this afternoon. A very warm welcome to Belfast to all of you. And for those who don't know me, I'm Evelyn de Barra, Director of Young at Art and the Belfast Children's Festival. Now, just a few housekeeping notes before we kick off. This session is being recorded, so if you prefer not to be visible, please keep your camera off. And if I could just ask everyone just to keep their mics muted, just to cut down on any background noise, unless of course you're one of our speakers. This event is also being signed in BSL by Heather Martin. So just make sure that you pin Heather if you want to use this service, but we'll make sure that she's spotlit and visible throughout as well. I know many of you are joining us here today were at IPE in Philadelphia last January and will have enjoyed the cultural spotlight from the island of Ireland that so many of us here today were part of. Well, little did we know how much the world would change in the subsequent months. In the last year, in 2020, we at the Belfast Children's Festival were very lucky. We were the last major cultural event in the city of Belfast, finishing on the evening of 11th of March with a performance of Tetris, which many of you will be familiar with. And if so, you will get the irony that it's probably the most un-COVID friendly show that I can think of, with the entire audience finishing up on stage dancing together. Yet within a matter of days, theatres were closed. We were working from home and in lockdown. Now, at one stage early last autumn, we actually thought that we might be the first large event back in the city live, but unfortunately it was not to be. So here I am at home, wearing my slippers and with my first, and I sincerely hope only, fully online Belfast Children's Festival. And while we all miss and yearn for live performances again, and the future still is a little uncertain at the moment, one thing I do believe is that it will be filled with art and creativity. Now, here in the north of Ireland, we have a wealth of companies creating performance work for young audiences. And for a country of our size and scale, I think we punch well above our weight. It's been my great pleasure to present so many of these companies as part of the Belfast Children's Festival over the last 5 years. And those companies have all risen to the challenge of art in the age of COVID, quickly pivoting, adapting, reimagining, and even creating work in lockdown for the digital domain. So they're able to still continue to bring their performances to their young audiences. And over the next 60 minutes, you're going to get a chance to meet and hear from some of the companies featured in this year's Homegrown Showcase, our very own batch of Northern Irish homegrown talent. But first, a few words from Kieron Walsh from Culture Ireland, without whose support this showcase will simply not have happened. Kieron.
Thanks, Evelyn. Hi, everyone. Great to see so many familiar faces and names across the various screens. Yeah, as Evelyn said, every time I think about iPay at the beginning of last year, it just seems like a parallel universe, to be honest, that we managed to have such a fantastic representation from across the island. And out of it, there was such optimism and hope for opportunities for artists. And now we find ourselves in this situation. But I suppose what hasn't been lost in my eyes and from talking to artists is hope. And I think festivals are a real milestone in terms of creating and maintaining hope across the sector. So we're delighted to be able to support companies create high quality digital recordings of their work that we hope will feed into online presentation of their work, or indeed even more optimistically when we return to live performances, that we're able to support international touring opportunities that arise for the artists. I just want to pay tribute to Evelyn, Young at Art, for keeping the flag flying. I also want to pay tribute to Barbaro, the other festival for younger audiences on the island. I know Aisling is, I can't see her, but I think she's here somewhere. And in particular, they really have, over the last year, as that dreadful word pivoting, they've been doing a lot of pivoting and maintaining their stalwart support for the sector in terms of the support for artists and how we might maintain that as we return to a new normal, a new hybrid normal. So we're very happy to talk to you about any of the artists that you see over the next 60 minutes. I'm looking forward to hearing all their pitches. And if you're interested in any of them, please come and talk to us. Evelyn.
Thank you, Kieran. So we'll get kicked straight off on that and welcome our first company up. And fresh from the editing suite of the musician is Conor Mitchell, the artistic director of the Belfast Ensemble. Conor's going up first so he can like run back and get that film finished so it's ready for its premiere tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Conor, tell us a little bit about the Belfast Ensemble.
Hi, thanks very much, Evelyn. Yes, my name's Conor Mitchell and I am a composer, but I'm also artistic director and director of the Belfast Ensemble, which is a baby out of the companies in Northern Ireland. We are now in our 4th year of activity, and from the inception of the company, which focuses primarily on music, theatre and opera, we felt that it was incredibly important that within a year of programming, one piece that we made every year participated with the Children's Festival. So we're thrilled that this piece has come along, which is the largest piece we've made so far for Young at Art, which is a children's opera called The Musician, which tells the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin's childhood. That piece started life many, many, many years ago in a now derelict theatre called the Old Museum Art Centre and was originally commissioned by Cahoots in 2007. It went to sleep for a very, very long time. And over the last few years, I've resurrected the story and created a brand new symphonic score. So this is a premiere production of a previous idea. What we have are, we've taken 4 opera singers, the most senior of which is Paul Carey-Jones, who includes work at Covent Garden, English National Opera, and a lot of work in Europe, and 3 incredibly brilliant younger opera singers from Northern Ireland. We're working with a 16-piece orchestra, and we've created a piece for children at the Lyric Theatre Belfast. It has been filmed to the highest standard, I have to say, of any. I've worked in opera and music theatre all of my life, and this is the highest standard I've seen so far. And I'm totally thrilled that this piece has been made for young audiences. It's an incredibly Belfast-based work with a huge dependency on Belfast-based creatives, and it fits perfectly into our overarching narrative. Is there anything else, Evelyn, you would like me to say on that subject?
No, just Conor, I don't know if there's anything that you maybe have coming up in the future that you'd like to allude to?
Well, I would like this piece, now that we have participated with the festival over a period of years, to remain at this standard of productivity. So the first 2 pieces we made were effectively warm-up pieces, and this much larger operatic work is of a scale and an ambition that I think the children of Belfast and the audiences really deserve, and it brings to young audiences a very underrepresented art form, which is that of music theatre and high-class virtuosic singing. I'm incredibly passionate about children engaging with virtuosity in the musical sphere, and we hope that in the coming years, this will really mark the first step in a series of operatic works for children across Ireland and Europe, based and from Belfast.
Lovely, Conor, thank you very much. And I'm just so excited to see the piece when it premieres tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And I am just delighted that Young at Art are co-producers with this piece of work. So it's a very exciting, very exciting way, and I think a lovely way for us to close the showcase with this performance. So thank you so much, Conor. I'll let you run back to that editing suite. That's okay, you're off duty.
For everyone, it's a horror opera as well.
It's a horror opera. It's a horror opera, yes. It's quite a bit. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to that. But it is for 6+, so it's not too gratuitous.
I love it. Yeah.
You'll love it. You'll love it. So thank you so much, Conor. So really going from what is our youngest company in the showcase today, we're actually going to move now to our oldest company. Not that I'm saying you're old, Crissy, by any means, and introduce you to Crissy O'Donovan, who's recently taken over as a general manager of Big Telly Theatre Company. So Big Telly are one of the only one of our showcase companies that's not based in the city of Belfast. They're actually based up in sunny Port Stewart. So are you up in sunny Port Stewart today, Crissy, and is it sunny?
No, unfortunately not. I'm working remotely from Oxford, so I'm still that new to the company that I haven't officially moved over yet.
Yes, I love that. Starting work from your kitchen table.
Yeah.
Crissy, tell us a little bit more about Big Telly.
Yeah, so Big Telly has been going for about 30 years, a little over, I think, and we've always been relentlessly regional. So focused on increasing the cultural participation of the most rural, underrepresented communities in society, finding creative and accessible ways to contribute to social change. Our work is inclusive, interactive, and relies on public engagement to achieve long-term impact. We also examine through some of our new digital forum projects the use of theatre to explore issues around social justice and social reform, finding the right platforms for people who typically find themselves outside decision-making spaces. And of course, we're also led by a desire to bring joy and connectivity, which is why we're at this brilliant festival today. We constantly seek new ways and places to tell stories and make live theatre. We're committed to making multi-platform, site-specific, immersive work, drawing on an eclectic range of techniques and influences such as gaming and escape rooms, computer hacking, burner phones, and technology such as AI, emotional computing, and binaural sound. When lockdown locked down, we were running about 6 projects. One of them was a tour of the worst cafe in the world, which was a dystopian comedy where the menu was full of experiences which were banned, like travel. And then the cloud burst and the audience are given these masks to protect themselves from the fallout. And then came the actual fallout. So we cancelled everything, which meant we had 20 freelance artists at home in isolation on the payroll. And we just began experimenting with the live and the digital. We focused our attention on reimagining The Tempest for Zoom, which we had made in 2019 as a multi-site game. And 3 weeks later, it opened and received an extraordinary amount of press attention from international and national media, which was obviously amazing and exciting. And it demonstrated the real potential and power in working within this medium. But I think the most important thing was the experience which audiences were having, which was a live, interactive, remote, connected experience. And the liveness was paramount to us throughout the whole year of exploring this medium. Suddenly we had a new art form where the audience could be part of a community of total strangers and be invited to participate, but with total agency. So you can just turn your camera off. And this control or freedom was in itself a catalyst for incredible commitment to the co-creation of the work. So when Ariel and The Tempest asked people to make bird sounds to create the illusion of a jungle, not only did people make the bird sounds, but they were perching on the backs of their sofas and they were prepared to fly. It was joyful and it was communal. People were booking at the same time as their relatives in America, Japan, and Scotland. A whole street in Bristol booked for the same show so they could come together. And since then, we've made 9 shows, all of which have seen a global audience of over 11,000 to over 20 countries, which for a regional theatre is just mind-blowing for us. Operation Elsewhere is one of those shows which we're delighted to be presenting at the Belfast Children's Festival this year. It's about families and young audiences going on a journey together and completing a mission. It brings together Irish myth and fairies and combines them with quest, intrigue, and game mechanics. It's part show, part game, and it's a unique brand of just myth, madness, and crack, basically. So once admitted to the show, you weave your path between strange and wonderful characters, like the character of Scatha, who provides you with the all-important spy training. So you travel elsewhere and you await further instructions. To give you some context, I'm just going to ask Megan to play a wee trailer for you. If you could do that, Meg. So we're really excited about the world opening back up again to this new normal and the potential growth of our work and our audiences. But we also believe in the digital, and we have fully invested in exploring the true potential of this space, and not just as a lockdown alternative, but as a platform that provides access to live theatre to artists and audiences with a range of diverse and complex needs. So your neighbour who is shielding, and the actor who's a single parent or a carer who can't tour work, the isolated or more rural communities, as well as our established audiences. With that specifically in mind, we're delighted to be able to launch our own very digital arts venue in May called Brick Moon. This is an online interactive space which aims to generate ideas and offer a platform where artists have the opportunity to make work and get feedback, test ideas, and offer a platform where they can showcase complete pieces. Artists will engage audiences in the processes of theatre making and storytelling in its broadest sense, and develop work for a wide range of audiences and animate the space throughout their time there. We hope for all to present opportunities for the arts to become more cross-sectional with other forms. This venue is the first of its kind in Northern Ireland, a uniquely shared space for companies, artists and communities to engage with and not be prohibited by geographic, social or economic limitations. So we look forward to welcoming you to Brick Moon, and we also hope to see you this weekend at Operation Elsewhere, which is running from the 12th to the 14th of March. And we just want to thank Belfast Children's Festival for their support and for having us. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much, Crissy. It's a delight to have the Big Telly Theatre Company as part of the festival this year. And everybody, Operation Elsewhere is one of our live online performances, so you can catch that at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, but performances are also on Saturday at 3 o'clock and at 7 o'clock and Sunday at 3 o'clock. All information on the Young at Art website. So actually now, while we're in the realm of the digital online interactive live experience, our next company is also working in a very similar medium. I would love to welcome Emma Wilson from Cahoots NI to tell us a little bit about the University of Wonder and Imagination. Emma.
Brilliant, thanks Evelyn. Hi everyone, nice to see you all, hope you're all well. I'm Emma, I'm from Cahoots and I am the Creative Engagement Manager, and I'm delighted to tell you a little bit about us and what we're up to at the minute. So we are based celebrate our 20th birthday. Our work concentrates on combining the visual potential of theatre with original music and magic and illusion. Our core audience is here in Northern Ireland, with regular touring across the UK and Ireland. And since 2016, we've been expanding our global portfolio to include regular touring in North America and most recently in China. When COVID-19 struck, like everyone else, our current local and international touring was brought to a standstill. We were about to start an Irish tour of our show Secrets of Space. We were in the middle of a USA tour with Penguins and they all had to be brought home. And we'd only just finished a tour of mainland China, Macau and Hong Kong with our show Shush, We Have a Plan. So our newest production that some of the delegates will have the opportunity to see over the next day or two, it's on Friday and Saturday, was created as a direct response to the pandemic. We wanted to create a show that was live and interactive, where unbelievable events could happen to an audience in their own home or school, with high production standards, real sets, lighting and sound design. So with all of that in mind, we created the University of Wonder and Imagination. So this is an interactive theatre experience that takes place all over Zoom. It's broadcast live by 5 amazing actors and 2 technical wizards from our socially distanced studio in Belfast city centre. The show is set in the most unusual of universities, where you meet the mysterious Professor Bamberg, played by Sean Kearns. He sends you off on a self-navigated quest where nothing is quite as it seems. You interact with the liveliest of lecturers, choose your subjects of study, enter themed rooms, encounter problems and puzzles, unlocking your magical powers as you go. The experience is an hour long. It's fully interactive and personalised, and it really places the audience member in control of the decisions that shape the show. So we have a little clip, if we could have a look, please. Thank you. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what it's like. The show is particularly enjoyed by age 7+ and their families. There's loads of links to the school curriculum for that age. For public shows, it can be enjoyed by 10 families at a time, which means everyone has a chance for interaction. And for school shows, it's can be enjoyed by 2 classrooms at a time. So what is next for Cahoots and I? The University of Wonder is currently out on a digital tour of the USA. It's played in 7 North American states already, even though we haven't got to see any of them, which was very sad. We opened at the end of September, expecting the show to run for 6 weeks, and it's still going. So that's something we're really proud of. We've moved out of our old office and we've transformed a disused office building in the city centre into a series of separate studio spaces for our actors, designers and technicians to isolate and create and perform in safely, and that's where the university has its home. Up next in that space, we're in the early development stages of a brand new large hybrid project, part installation, part magical theatre experience, and that's coming in the autumn 2021. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma. It was lovely to get you to share a little bit about that process. So that's 2 companies that have both really had to reimagine their work during COVID and actually work at ways of actually creating work for that digital domain. The next piece is very different from that. While a lot of the pieces within the festival have either been created for the digital domain or are pieces that are being filmed for streaming, our next piece from DuDance NI is different from that. It's a beautiful collection of short films that I was just so bowled over when I saw. I just simply knew I had to have them in the festival. So it's my really great pleasure to introduce you to DuDance's artistic director, Byrne. Mags, tell us a little bit about Through Our Eyes.
Hi Evelyn, thanks for having us as part of this platform. I'm going to tell you a little bit first, if I may, just about the company, because I think it sets a context for the work then really. So, DuDance NI, well, we're a professional dance development company. We're based in Belfast and we work across the island of Ireland, the UK and internationally. Our aim, I suppose, is to introduce young people to dance and the creative arts, and in doing so, to facilitate personal, social development, build community, connections, and foster tolerance and respect. We provide access to contemporary dance workshops and small and large-scale performance projects delivered within communities which might otherwise have limited or even no dance provision. The company operates an inclusive policy of participation, free of preconceptions regarding individual ability. The company's work, we hope, challenges traditional views of the relevance and the value of dance. Performance is an integral part of our work as it creates a common goal and a recognised achievement. It allows participants really and communities to develop and to present themselves anew. The 4 separate but interconnected programmes of work into which DuDance NI has formulated its approach and delivery use the generic titles Crossing the Divide, Closing the Gap, Opening the Spectrum, and Building Bridges. I'm going to show you some photos from those projects, first of all. So, Crossing the Divide focuses on cross-community work with young people in a variety of educational and social settings, in particular those where participants are experiencing inter-community conflict. These are photos of our ongoing youth dance programme and some of our annual primary schools dance festival. The Closing the Gap programme, well, Closing the Gap concerns itself with intergenerational work. It seeks to address the lack of opportunities for people of different ages to connect. The photos are from a project called Alternative Energies, where we use ballroom dancing and storytelling as our starting points. Opening the Spectrum focuses on developing opportunities for young people to connect to the wider world. And this programme includes work outside of Northern Ireland. These photos are from our work in Germany and South Africa, and this actually is Palestine. We have an ongoing programme of work in Bethlehem with our partners there. The 4th programme, and the one I'm going to talk more about now, is Building Bridges. And this programme seeks to build connections between groups to support those facing adverse childhood experiences and to help engender a change in attitude by and towards the young people. As part of this programme, we began working with young carers in 2018, partnering with Bernardo's NI and supported by Children in Need. We researched how we might assist them and what we could do. It became clear that the young people wanted help to get recognition for their caring responsibilities. Something that shocked me, I suppose, was that over 8,500 young people in Northern Ireland alone have significant responsibilities for caring for a family member, to the point where their own development suffers. They often have difficulties socially, feeling isolated. They develop mental health issues and many drop out of school. We found that the vast majority of schools were totally unaware of the young carers in their midst. So we developed a programme that includes exploratory workshops where we look to find a physical expression for internal stresses. Words that often came up in the workshops include things like frightened and angry, lonely, anxious, trapped, tired, scared, depressed. On more than one occasion, young people have said that they feel dead inside. The team has to work hard in a very short period of time to gain their trust and to help them to feel confident enough to express themselves in front of a camera. During the workshops, we create short phrases, discuss where they want to film and what they want to wear. Then, and this is a crucial part, we put a professional team around each project so that the young people's ideas are given credence and value. Each project concludes with 2 film screenings, one for the young people so they can comment and make changes, and then if they agree, a public showing for family, friends and invited guests before being disseminated more widely. All the way along, the young people are in control. They control how far we delve, where we film, what we do, and who sees it. To date, we've completed 5 projects and have brought the resulting films together for screening at the Belfast Children's Festival under the title Through Our Eyes. We are immensely grateful to the Young at Art team for the opportunity to get the films out there and would welcome hearing from anybody else who would like to show them. The current COVID situation has delayed our plans for future work on this particular project, but I can say that we're committed to delivering a further 3 programmes this year and a celebratory jamboree to bring the young people from across Northern Ireland, the young carers, together. So after the behind the scenes photos, here's a short trailer of the films themselves. This is Through Our Eyes. Thanks very much.
I loved the DuDance. It was so fun. I got to see new people and I got to make new friends. And the final film was great. I loved it.
Hi, I'm Emma and I took part in the DuDance with Bernardo's young carers. It was such a fun time and I made so many new friends there. And I love the finished result and I hope you do too.
Thank you so much, Mags. That was just lovely. The films really are extraordinary and I really do recommend that everybody watch them as soon as possible. They will be on demand and are available now, streaming. I'll go over how you can see all of our pieces at the very end, but for everything, just go to the website youngatart.co.uk. But no, Mags, thank you once again. They really are an extraordinary body of work. And again, so lovely to have DuDance NI as part of the Belfast Children's Festival. Our next company is Replay Theatre Company, and Janice Kernoghan Reid is going to tell us a little bit about Replay and about the piece that they have in the festival this year, Dancing at the Disco at the End of the World. Janice.
Thanks, Evelyn. Hi, everybody. First of all, I just wanted to say to Mags, I watched them Through Our Eyes earlier on this afternoon, and I just absolutely loved it. I thought it was so moving and beautiful, and without being kind of twee or anything, I just loved seeing the kids doing their thing. It was brilliant. But yeah, so I'm the artistic director of Replay Theatre Company, and Replay has been going since 1988, so we're like a couple of years younger than Big Telly. Or no, who was it that was the oldest one, Evelyn?
I think it's Big Telly. Thanks. When was DuDance founded?
Yeah. So anyway, I think
it's not us, sorry, we're not the oldest, although we've been going for over 20 years now, 21 years, but
I think it was Big Telly's beat us by a couple of years. I think they were 1986 and we were 1988. So yeah, so we've been going since 1988, and we are obviously a theatre company making work for young audiences. We make work for quite a wide age range of young audiences. So from 0, our youngest audience member has been just a couple of days old, right up to 18. So it's quite a wide audience range. And we tour to schools, to community centres, to festivals, to theatre spaces, really wherever will take us and allow us to bring theatre to their children and young people. We make work for 4 different audience streams. So we make work for early years, so between 0 and 4, and that kind of theatre is very sensory driven. And then we make work for primary aged audiences, and that work is sometimes more kind of an auditorium type of piece, and sometimes smaller audiences by design as well. We make work for post-primary audiences, which is what Dancing at the Disco at the End of the World is, which I'll talk about in a second. And then we have a specialist stream of work for disabled audiences, which is called our UP programme, and it's led by our inclusion lead artist, Andrew Stanford. So we're really lucky to have a dedicated member of staff specifically for that stream of work funded by Children in Need. And it's really allowed that side of the work to grow. But the show that we have on at the festival at the minute is Dancing at the Disco at the End of the World. And we first produced this show in 2017 as part of the Belfast International Arts Festival. And it's a show designed for age 14 plus. And in 2017, it was a show for just 30 audience members at a time. It was a promenade show, which took place in a derelict warehouse in Belfast city centre called Riddle's Warehouse. It's an old ironmongery. But the story in 2017, which was written by John McCann, is a dystopian story which happens after there's been a viral pandemic which has wiped out the adult population but hasn't affected the children. So yeah, when things happened earlier on this year, it felt strangely prophetic. But the story happens 15 years after the virus, and everyone under the age of 10 survived. So in the story, we now go in and we meet all the people who are young adults now, and it's really a look at how they have built the society and how they have managed growing up in a place where there were no adults. So when we originally marketed it, we marketed it as a cross between Animal Farm, Lord of the Flies, and a rave. And it was really great fun in that warehouse space. The warehouse was really a character in itself. So we always knew that we wanted to bring the show back. And when we had the opportunity to film it and make it a film show, we were really excited. So thanks to Evelyn and the festival for that. But yeah, so it's a challenging show in many ways, not least because actually when the show was written, it was written with kind of a sideways look towards fake news and Trump being in power, and the way that young people perhaps felt a little bit powerless in terms of their control over what was happening in the world. And in a post-viral place that we are now, it reads very differently. So it's just interesting in terms of a piece of theatre, how differently it can be perceived before and after like large world scale events. And coming up next, we have a show called Coco. So it's part of our UP programme, and it was one of our pivot shows. So like everybody else, I think we were potentially one of the last shows to close in the Lyric last March with The Untold Truth of Captain Hook, which again was part of Belfast Children's Festival. So I think our show closed maybe the day before the festival closed, or in and around there. And we just got the show under the wire before we went into lockdown and theatres were shut down. So yeah, we all went and started working from home thinking that, you know, that would be a couple of months like everybody else. And here we are a year later still doing it. So Coco that we have coming up next is one of our pivot shows. And it was created, it was written and it's performed by an artist called Mary McGurk, who's a local actor. And she had created a short story for children called Coco the Koala, which she submitted to the Tinderbox solo art program. And our inclusion lead artist, Andrew, saw that and had an idea for how to turn that into a children's show. So the way that show works is that it happens in the back of a van. So the back of the van is converted into this gorgeous kind of forestscape. And Mary, the actor, is in there. It drives up to the driveways of some of the most medically vulnerable children in Northern Ireland. So children with profound and multiple learning difficulties, children with profound physical disabilities. So it drives up to their driveway. We pop a gazebo around the back and a sheet of perspex between the back of the van and the gazebo, and the families can come in and sit cozied up in the gazebo and watch live theatre happening. And they're also given in advance a resources kit. So the parents or the guardians can choose to use those resources at the same time as those moments are happening in the show, or they can just keep them to play with later. So it was a really successful show for us during this year when we were actually able to still get out and deliver live theatre to one of our most important audience streams. And the guys are in rehearsals for it again. So it'll be going out in the next few weeks and we can't wait to get it back out on the road again. But that's where we are. I totally forgot to say play on the Dancing at the Disco trailer. So let's have a look at that if that's okay, Meg. Thank you. So yeah, just to confirm, that's not the show Coco about the cute koala bear. That's the dystopian one. But yes, so Evelyn, thank you very much for having us as part of the festival.
Not at all, Janice. Thank you once again. And I'm sure, like as many of us on the call today are programmers and presenters, we all know that, you know, a festival doesn't come together overnight. And my discussions with the replay team for Dancing at the Disco at the End of the World started really about 2 years ago, maybe even slightly longer. So the idea of programming a piece that's set in the aftermath of a global pandemic was just bizarre to find that that's exactly what we're looking at. Thankfully, that everybody over 10 is still with us. So thank you so much for that, Janice. And Dancing at the Disco at the End of the World is available on demand now. And now we have Maiden Voyage Dance. Maiden Voyage is one of Northern Ireland's leading contemporary dance companies and is a commissioning company. So it's my great pleasure to introduce to you my very good friend, Nicola Curry.
Thanks very much, Evelyn. So I'm Nicola, Artistic Director of Maiden Voyage Dance. We are a contemporary dance company based in Belfast, and we offer discoveries in dance with, by and for artists, for audiences and participants. And we've been doing that since 2002. We commission new dance and new music across 3 strands. Maiden Belfast is our full-length or mixed bills for venues, and that's suitable for teenagers through to adults. Dance Exposed is our commissioning strand of short works for public space, suitable for all ages. And Offspring is our strand of work for young and family audiences. So today I'll talk to you about Turnabout, which is our latest new work, and it's premiered now during Belfast Children's Festival. It's a 16-minute piece for 4 dancers, for piano and for choir, and is suitable for 5 years and over. Turnabout has been a direct response to the pandemic, from its theme to how it was made as a socially distanced performance, and how it's presented as a filmed event rather than a live one. Last autumn, when we realised that pandemic restrictions would remain in place through into this year, we had to do our own turnabout within the planned programme. We brought together collaborators, choreographer Jennifer Rooney, composer Elaine Agnew, and writer Olive Broderick to create something new for us for the festival on the theme of hope. We invited 3 primary schools, St Joseph's in East Belfast, Rathcoole Primary in Newtonabbey, and St Kieran's Primary School in Polglass, to take part in writing workshops with Olive, so we could hear their stories of hope, how hope made them feel, how they felt when they got what they wanted, or how they felt when their hopes weren't fulfilled. And from that, Olive compiled their stories into a text, which shaped the overarching 3-part structure for both the choreography and the music composition. A further collaborator in Turnabout was the Belfast Philharmonic Youth and Chamber Choirs, with 80 young voices aged 11 to 20 who sing the text. They rehearsed and recorded all of their parts over Zoom under the direction of their artistic director Lindsay Callaghan with pianist Gail Evans. So this was no mean feat, as each voice was recorded individually. They couldn't hear each other during the recording process. And the choir sing text in the first and third sections of Turnabout. The first section of Turnabout is called Fingers Crossed, and it captures the anticipation, the excitement, the longing for things, from everyday wishes like Xboxes and husky dogs to profound wishes to have a loved one come home to you, and the disappointment also when hope is lost. In the second section, Finding Hope, it uses chimes and dancers' rhythms and the piano score to focus on how sharing our hopes with others can bring back intention into our actions and help us all move forward. And the third section, Hold On to Hope, explores resilience to help you hold on to feeling hopeful even in the most trying of circumstances. And we all know how that feels. The piece concludes with a return to closeness, to liveness, and a desire to share physical and emotional togetherness and space with each other again. Turnabout is performed by 4 early career dance artists who, having trained across the water, are now back home based in Belfast, and we're delighted to offer performance opportunities for them. So we'll show you a little clip from the promo.
Can you remember when you were younger? Did you want something and long to have it? Yes, I remember when I was 7 or maybe younger. There was this one thing.
When I first was asked to choreograph this piece, I jumped at the chance. Yes, please. And then the second thought was, how are we going to do this? Because we've got to do this in a socially distanced way. The theme of the piece is hope, and we wanted to explore what that means to people. How is hope defined? Is it always a good thing, or can too much hope lead to disappointment?
The music for Turnabout features the Belfast Phil Youth and Chamber Choirs, and right from the beginning of the process I knew that we probably wouldn't be allowed to have live musicians, so working closely with the choirs, they have rehearsed, recorded all of their parts via Zoom. We worked with poet Olive Broderick, who went into 3 primary schools in Belfast, and she asked the children about, what are your stories of hope? What are your stories of hope for the future? And from that she then created a beautiful text then that I set to music.
So if you would like any further information about Turnabout as a filmed piece or in the future as a live socially distant performance, please do get in touch. You can find out more about our work on the website or on our Vimeo page. There might be links in the chat now. And looking ahead to the coming year, we are developing commissions with 5 dance artists for the creation of new work for outdoors, for installation or interactive presentation. And we look forward to bringing Morph, a new dance duet for 2 to 6 roles, where the mundane becomes the magnificent. And we hope to premiere that at the 2022 Belfast Children's Festival. And we hope to see all of you there in the flesh. So thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you about our work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicola. And it just bursts me with pride to think of all of this homegrown talent being from Northern Ireland and most of it, as I say, based in the city of Belfast, and just how lucky I am as a festival director to have this type of work on my doorstep, and how amazing it has been, how all of these companies have risen to the challenge and didn't even think twice about being able to make sure that I had a really good program to be able to choose from in the festival. So my thanks to all of them. It's really been quite a Trojan effort. So Kieron, if any of the presenters watching this this call today are interested in talking to the companies about touring work, be that in person when we get back to normal or in a virtual context, what support is there out there that people can draw on?
So we, with the current travel restrictions, we're prohibited from issuing any travel grants for international travel at the moment. But what we are supporting is online presentation. So on our website, you'll see that we have revamped our deadlines. So they're more regular now. So it's every 2 months. So the next deadline is the 1st of April, and that we will turn around decisions within 4 to 5 weeks. And that will be to support festivals, international festivals or venues, to present online versions of work from Northern Ireland based artists. So if you've seen anything or any that is not clear, because we are, in terms of we're more flexible in a way than we would have been in the past, because we are looking at ways to keep supporting artists. So please come and talk to me. And can I also just say, Evan, just thanks to the artists as well, because I know when people go through this process, it all looks effortless, and they kind of, they make it look effortless. And I know a lot of work goes into creating an event like this so that the artists can present themselves so well. So well done to the artists and to you.
No, and my thanks to everybody for participating today. So just to take a quick run through, just so you know exactly where and when you can see all of the works that you've gone today. Obviously, the delegates who are with us today, you have all of your links on your delegate welcome page. But for our live performances, our live online performances, Operation Elsewhere is tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, Saturday at 3 and at 7 o'clock, and Sunday at 3 o'clock. For University of Wonder, we have a selection of performances on Friday evening and throughout Saturday. So check out the Young at Art website and get her booked. On demand, currently up and running for your delectation whenever you want, and you can watch it as often as you like, is Through Our Eyes, Dancing the Disco at the End of the World, and Turnabout. They're all on QFT Player, but the easiest way to navigate to those is again through our website. And then premiering on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is the Belfast Ensemble's The Musician. So just to let everybody know, links will not be available for that until the time of the performance. So don't panic when you don't see it there beforehand. You can pre-purchase the piece, and then the link will be sent to you at the time that it is premiered. But delegates, again, if you just navigate to the link on your delegate welcome page. So again, thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. Kieron, thank you for taking the time off. All the artists, you know I love you all. You're fantastic. Thanks again. And Heather, thank you so much for sterling job signing not just this but our other industry event. You must be ready for a good big gin. I know I am. So everybody, just thank you all for joining us. We have some more industry events coming up tomorrow. Please come and join us with those. Both are free, all are free, and you're able to book on the website. Delegate, you've got your links, don't be booking. And they are Going Digital, Staying Digital, which is at 3 o'clock tomorrow. That's chaired by Noel Jordan, and he is going to be talking to Rosie Hefford from Secondhand Dance, Zoe Seaton from Big Telly Theatre Company, and Paul Bosco McAnini from Cahoots NI. They will all be talking about their approaches to making work for the online and digital domain, and also what the future of online events is going to look like for companies moving forward, and some nice raises nice issues about accessibility and inclusion with that as well. So that's 3 o'clock tomorrow, and then at 4:30 tomorrow we have Their Place, which is about how creativity can help children reflect on the pandemic, and that is chaired by the MAC senior curator Hugh Mulholland, where he'll talk to project artists Jane Butler and Duncan Ross about the My Place exhibition, which is a young art project which worked with children in 3 primary schools in the areas of high deprivation in Belfast to produce a body of work reflecting on their experience of the pandemic. And the exhibition that they have created is also available to view free on QFT Player. Once again, navigate to our website. There's both a video of the installation, but also a virtual gallery tour led by the artists. So they're in conversation with Hugh tomorrow at 4:30, so don't miss that as well. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely evening, and I look forward to seeing you all at the industry talks tomorrow. In the meantime, please get online and enjoy the shows, and thank you so much for joining us once again. Good night.